Kansas City Royals, a team that has a lot to play for. But, Buck, you don't want to run into Yordan Alvarez right now.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw him in the big leagues, I go, really? Really? You talking about strong? There are muscles in places that other people don't have. And it's just country strong.
I love his balance. I think he's the most balanced slugger.
You know what people miss about him? He is a good hitter. I know that falls underneath the no. He's not just a collision hitter. This guy knows how to hit.
John Singleton, when he makes contact with the barrel, it launches off his bat. That's his 12th of the year.
That's a loud noise.
I'm glad they gave him a chance. All the talk that they needed a first baseman at the deadline.
Look at here.
Yuli Gurriel won a batting title. In 2021 with the Astros.
Talking to the Braves, he was down in AAA with them. He said, consummate professional, showed up every day and played like his first game in the Little League.
He played almost 80 games in AAA Gwinnett. Look at this. He hits it to all fields. Like you said, he's a great hitter.
He makes real loud noises. That collision usually doesn't end well for the other team.
He's hitting .314 with a 400 on base percentage, Yordan Alvarez. This is history right here, Buck. Bobby Witt Jr., I was hard to believe, becomes the first Royal ever to have consecutive 30 homer seasons.
Really? Oh, that ballpark years ago.
Cavernous.
And it's basically the same park except for a few adjustments they made. So something's different. Players might be a little bit better. How's that?
Yanir Diaz has been so good. The Houston Astros role players, Jeremy Pena, who's been a middle of the order bat, driving in runs, makes it 7-2, and the Astros are 13 games over 500. The reason why they're turning things around, Yordan Alvarez is taking over. Most 30 homer seasons in Astros franchise history. This guy isn't sniffing 30 years old yet. He's not even close. He's already got 4 such seasons. He's on his way, if he stays on this pace, to easily breaking Hall of Famer Jeff Bagwell's record of 9. It just feels like, Buck, the Houston Astros, this is the time of year. You're a big college basketball fan. And remember when Emeka Okafor and Ben Gordon were playing for UConn? They were the #1 preseason favorite. They had a great year before, and they struggled, lost some regular season games. Then once the NCAA tournament started, they ran the table, won the national championship. It feels like the Houston Astros are the baseball version of that this year.
Never shortchanged pedigree. Having been there and being a part of it. I remember early in the year, we're going to talk about it a little later with Espada, and the things looked like it was awful. Nobody can replace Dusty Baker. Well, look what's happened. I think being able to trust your players and their background and their pedigree and knowing it's challenging though, because every once in a while you go, hey guys, I know baseball wouldn't give me more than I can handle, but I wish you guys wouldn't have so much confidence in me. Hey, let's go. And baseball season, like I said, sooner or later your strengths will come out, and I think that's what you're seeing. And they're playing with a lot of confidence. They know what's ahead of them now.
It's not an easy gig, and it sounds like you're taking over a good team. But when you're taking over a franchise as manager, which Joe Espada did, you're replacing future Hall of Famer. They've been to 7 consecutive league championship series. That's unheard of, right? That's a pressure cooker job.
Oh, yeah. And it's a what have you done for me lately world. And what do you do? Say, well, I don't want the job. I want to follow somebody that really struggled. No, it doesn't always work that way. But I think his familiarity with the players and the trust, he's seen them at their best. There's nothing worse than, like, you got a new manager and he's never seen you overcome adversity. Mm-hmm. And you're wondering back at the hotel, does he know that I'm better than this? Well, they know that he knows what they're capable of, and he trusts them.
We haven't put Yordan in the MVP conversation because it's so obvious. We have Aaron Judge as the front runner. Bobby Witt Jr., who just hit his 30th home run, is number 2. Jose Ramirez of the Guardians hit his 34th home run today. He's number 3, many people assume. But where would the Astros be without Yordan Alvarez still being the superstar hitter that he is when Kyle Tucker's been on the shelf for most of the season?
Do you think that figures in the MVP voting? Because where would the Royals be without Witt? Where would the Yankees be without Judge? You can say that about all 3 of these guys you mentioned.
Even Ramirez as well with the Guardians.
That's the same thing about Rookie of the Year, and we may talk about later. Yeah. Does it matter whether you're on a winning team or not?
What do you think?
Not Rookie of the Year.
Not Rookie of the Year?
First,
what if you make incredible impact to your winning team as a rookie?
I think that helps. But I just think, why should you penalize a player who's had a great year because the rest of the team's not very good? Is that fair?
I don't think, look, I think there's a way to
I'm just
look
giving
at
the
it.
pro and con.
Right, but when there's a kid like Jackson Merrill, and we'll talk about this later, who's got 5 home runs in the 8th inning or later that has tied or given his team the lead.
Yeah. I saw him in high school at Severna Park High School in Maryland, and there was a lot of give and take about where he was going to be picked. I tell you, there's a lot of guys feeling real smart right now.
I love this year's rookie classes on both sides.
Oh,
I think the future of the game is at such a high level. And we came in only talking about 2 guys, Jackson Holliday and Paul Skeens.
You know what
Those were the 2 guys we couldn't stop talking about.
I also think it gives some credence to how well the game's being in high school, but in college. And the college programs now are actually letting these guys come faster. And everybody wants to go, oh, they're not spending enough time in our leagues, they're not learning the game. I look at it a little bit different. I think the college programs are doing a good job.
That's fascinating. It's good to hear you say that. I like that. Yeah, college baseball, that's where most kids go. And most kids are drafted in the first round out of college.
They're coming fast.
They're doing a great job developing. Guess, I don't want to insult him.
No.
250.
I'm not going to insult him.
Here's John Singleton. He can hit it hard, too. Number 12. They're coming, man. This is what the Astros do.
You know, you hear guys hitting the big leagues. That's what sometimes you know a guy's a better hitter than somebody else because of the sound it makes. That's a nice pickup. Under the radar pickup. He can play first base, doesn't strike out, and can get a big hit off a good pitcher late in the game.
Royals have been tinkering with their roster due to injuries, other reasons. They're trying to get into the postseason. Hard to compete with a guy like this. Jordan, number 30 on the season, and the Astros have a 3-run lead.
There are stages in the year that you pitch him like they're pitching Judge, and he gets right. People miss how good a hitter he is, and he gets right, and this guy can get right.
Bobby Witt Jr., that pitch was up and in.
You see him pull his hands inside that and get the barrel on it? Watch him pull his hands in. See it?
First player in Royals history with consecutive 30-homer seasons. That's wild. George Brett didn't do it. Steve Balboni didn't do it. Danny Tartable didn't do it. I can go on and on.
Balboni. How about Amos Otis?
Oh, good one. Diaz, extra bases. Jeremy Pena, go ahead and drive in 2 more.
Very quietly been solid shortstop there for a long time.
He is.
And remember when he first broke in, I was going, ooh, I don't know about this.
Well, he won a Gold Glove as a rookie.
Yeah.
Take a look at these notable moves on Saturday.
I bet they got better pictures of them than those 3. Those guys are going somewhere.
They look intimidating.
Exactly.
You know, it's like,
they should be happy. That's probably what their other clubs those pictures were taking. They're happy to be with KC.
The Royals getting extra veteran leadership to make that postseason run.
You know what's great about very quietly, Robbie Grossman and Pham both played in the World Series last year. I mean, that's pretty good pedigree to bring in there. And Uriel's been in one.
And Gurriel's been in plenty of postseason games.
So you think they have some stature walking in the clubhouse?
No doubt. I want to go to the Minnesota Twins playing host to the Toronto Blue Jays. Ernie Clement. You know, there are young players with the Jays getting a chance to impress. This young man's doing that.
You know, it's like Toronto took okay, here's who we are. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to keep. And it kind of settled everybody down there. They played really well since the trade deadline.
Last 3 weeks have been great. Watch this. Leo Jimenez. Go get it. Really? Oh, my goodness.
You know, you were at a game the other day. Can you believe that we used to not have netting up in front? Ways the game's improved. If that netting's out there, I don't know. He still took a pretty good one.
Yeah, he did. He'd stay in the game, though. Great play. Bottom 7. Carlos Santana from the right side to third. Royce Lewis is going to score. We're tied at 1. We go to the 8th. 2-1 Jays. Bases loaded. Joey Loperfido to short. He's going to get another run home.
Well, he didn't tag him.
That's a good question. Royce Lewis, when he hits a home run, the Twins usually win. His 16-game homer drought over. Twins lead 4-3. They go on to win by that score. Royce Lewis, key. He's a key.
That might be my favorite park in the big leagues. You been there, Target Field?
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
They can use a roof.
Great job in the dugout with the dugouts in the locker room and the batting cages.
It is cold in the fall and in the spring. Andres Jimenez goes yard. Jankinsey Noel down the line.
Got to talk to the Target company about that. Put a roof over. We tried to put a roof over ours in Texas, but it didn't work.
No. Kyle Manzardo. He's one of their top prospects. First career homer.
But they just keep producing players. They know who they are, and they produce very similar looking players too.
Bottom 6? No way. Are you kidding me?
Not that easy.
His second home run? Manzardo. I need a Manzardo jersey.
You get a little Travis Hafner looking at him.
Oh, I like that comp. Oh, no. Alex Cobb was perfect through 6. Shaking up here. Perfect game broken up. Gets a standing ovation. He'd stay in the game. That's how it came to an end.
He would have let them score that in error.
Jose Ramirez does it again.
He's one of my most favorite players.
Oh, 34 home runs.
I hope he finishes his whole career in Cleveland.
It'd be fun. Look what Cleveland has done. When all the talk were all these A-listers you could go trade for, they had Matthew Boyd rehabbing in their minor league system, a guy that's been the Tigers for a long time. And then they go get Alex Cobb, a guy that hadn't pitched all year. They go trade for him, and they're starting to see the fruits of their scouting labor.
I've been saying all year, Cleveland's a lot better. Everybody wants to say, oh, the American League Central, oh, the National League Central. The American League Central is a good division this year for a team to get deep in the playoffs. I love their bullpen. They can make runs matter. And there's nothing that kills a team's morale more than losing late inning leads. And their 7th, 8th, and 9th inning pitchers are as good as you want to see.
How many Manager of the Year awards did you win? 3? Is it 3?
I don't know.
I think it's 3.
You know what it is? They give it to the guy who surprises the most. That's why nobody wins it back to back much.
All right. So based on that, these current managers, obviously Pat Murphy is in the National.
How'd you like to walk into those 3 situations? That's why they're up there. How'd you like to be Stephen Voigt and going in and following Terry Francona? How'd you like to be Joe Espada, go in and follow Dusty? How'd you like to be Pat Murphy and go in? I'm not putting legendary status on.
He's the highest paid manager in the sport, though.
Exactly.
Great counsel.
And God bless him. But they got to get some credit for that. Winning when you're supposed to win, expected to win, there's a certain mentality that you got to overcome. We saw it especially with Houston, and just trying to trust the players. And I love what these guys are doing. I respect how hard it was to follow those guys.
I misspoke. 4 Manager
Let's
of
move
the
on
Year
to another
awards.
subject. You know what that means? It means you had really good players, Greg.
Were there years, because that award is voted on, I mean, they don't see what you do day to day. Were there years where you're like, I know I'm not even going to be a finalist, but that was my best managerial performance?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, we had the biggest turnaround in baseball history in Arizona. I don't know if I even finished. I can tell you, they put you in a chair. And they got 3 guys there, the 3 finalists. And I've been in that chair when you didn't win. All of a sudden, the cameraman at your house goes, oh, you didn't win. All right, we're going. They unplug everything and walk out the door. And you're still sitting in the chair, man.
I host that show.
That's the other side of it.
I
Greg,
know.
Greg. I'm just being frank with you.
I know. But you actually
They should go to the other 2 guys and go, how do you feel about losing?
Do you think they should interview him a little bit?
I'm not doing that.
I was assuming you wouldn't do that.
And they got their family crowd around. All of a sudden, they're pulling the plugs on the cameras and they're walking out your door.
I will say this before we move on. Joe Espada, Stephen Vogt, Matt Quattraro in Kansas City. Those 3, that's a tough call for AL Manager of the Year.
Mm-hmm. It's going to go down. We look at how tough a year the White Sox are having. You know how many games the Royals lost last year?
Over 100.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be hope for everybody. And it can turn so quickly because the mental and emotional side of a game, things snowball in the big leagues. So when things are going right, wow, it just can't do anything wrong. And then it goes the other way because you're dealing with such talented players day in, day out.
Yeah.
That's why you got to keep your foot on the throttle.
In the National League, Pat Murphy's probably the slam dunk. He's in his first year with the Brewers, and they're winning.
I love him. I love
Mike Schilt. Mike Schilt deserves some credit what he's done in San Diego.
The Mets make the playoffs. Mendoza's got to get some credit too.
Wow, Carlos Mendoza's done a great job in Flushing. But getting back to Schilt, because it was a segue, Buck, to get to the bump video that I'm about to show.